In the past month, I've noticed there's been a lot of anger from Pokemon investors towards card stores. Now, I know a lot of people have talked about this online already. I've seen a lot of people just get mad at card stores myself in, my comments or just in other people's comments and just online in general. And I wanted to give you guys my take on this anger that has been directed towards card stores. So this anger wasn't always here. It wasn't here like 6 months ago. It really just started. And it started with Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks was the first set we've really seen from Scarlet and Violet. Obviously, now it's Prismatic Evolutions, but before Prismatic Evolutions, Surging Sparks was like the first set that had a ton of demand for it, even before being released. Like, we didn't see this sort of demand with Stellar Crown, Twilight Masquerade, Temporal Forces. Like, none of these sets had this sort of demand. And yeah, this was just the first set we really saw like this crazy amount of demand for in Scarlet and Violet. And it really got worse when we figured out what was actually in the set and we saw some artworks, because you could have pre-ordered Surging Sparks booster boxes for a little bit of time for like $100. Like, they weren't hard to find. It was pretty easy. But once we, found out what was in the set, we saw some of the cards, the artworks. These $100 booster boxes became non-existent because people got excited for the set. It was really already building up because we knew it was going to be somewhat of a Pikachu set. So we saw all that demand, and it just got increasingly worse. Like, it went from $100 for a booster box. People figured out what was in the set, sort of, so they went to 110, then 120, 130, 140, 150, and then it peaked at 160 at release. And then now it's obviously like $200, $210. But people on pre-orders, when they were like 120, 130, I remember there was a ton of anger towards these card stores because they were adjusting their prices to market, and people were mad that they couldn't buy these booster boxes for $100 anymore, because before this, booster boxes for any set you could have easily pre-ordered for $100. There's no problem. But all of a sudden there's demand for a set, and card stores see this demand and they increase their prices, and people get mad. So that's where it kind of started with Surging Sparks, because we saw a lot of demand for the set, and card stores started to increase their prices by $20, $30, and then it went crazy to MSRP, at release. And that was kind of the start. And Surging Sparks, honestly, compared to what I'm going to show you guys here with Prismatic Evolutions, it wasn't as bad. Like, yeah, there was some anger because these card stores were charging $20, $30 more for a booster box that was only $100. Like, MSRP is $161. It's still under MSRP, and people were mad at that. But now it's gotten even worse because Prismatic Evolutions. Prismatic Evolutions has really highlighted this anger towards card stores. So Prismatic Evolutions was basically the same thing as Surging Sparks. You could have bought them for retail pre-order from Target, GameStop, Best Buy, because we didn't know anything about the set. We just knew it was an Eevee set. But once the Evolution SARs, once they got leaked, just like Surging Sparks, there was a huge increase in demand, and all these places, GameStop, Target, Best Buy, they all sold out. And once they sold out of pre-orders, these card stores that were charging retail, they obviously saw this crazy demand because people finally figured out what was in the set, and they started to increase their price. And now these Elite Trainer boxes are selling for around $100. And a lot of people are upset at these card stores for charging right now double retail MSRP for these normal Elite Trainer boxes. So I want to give you guys my whole take on this anger towards card stores and why these people are angry, and how I just sort of don't agree with this anger towards these card stores. So first of all, I'm just going to say this. If you're a Pokemon investor, right, and at this point, I don't even like using the investing word because no one's investing. We're all, I don't know, we're not investing in this stuff. I mean, I can't even use that word anymore. But if you're, a investor, okay, let's be honest here. We should be, like, including me, because honestly, I'm not mad at these card stores, I'll tell you straight up, but we should, if you're an investor, we should be the last people mad. Like, let's be honest here. We like Pokemon, whatever, but we're here to make money. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. We're here, we're investing, we're trying to make some money off of this stuff. These card stores, they buy from the distributor and they sell it to make money. I know it's a crazy thing, right? And now it's like, what? It's like, we're here to make money, but we're getting mad at other people trying to make money. And especially now we're in a time where they can make more money than ever, and finally they're getting a chance to actually make a small amount of money. It's like, we should be the last people to get mad, okay? Maybe if you're an innocent, just collector, whatever, you can get more mad and it'd make more sense. But especially if you're an investor, like, we should be the last people to really get mad at, card stores for charging market price or, whatever people are getting mad at. But now, I guess getting that out of the way, I want to talk about this anger towards card stores and how I don't really agree with it. So, you know, back then, when there wasn't this huge demand with Pokemon, booster boxes, these card stores were selling, all these card stores sell these for like $90 to $100. So that's like $60, $70 under MSRP. And you were happy to buy them for under MSRP. And these card stores, they weren't charging MSRP back then. But now there's this, demand for Pokemon. And these places, are finally getting the chance to charge more than just $40 a Elite Trainer box, $100 a booster box. Like, they're finally getting that chance to make a little bit of money. But now people are mad that these places are charging MSRP, or they're charging over MSRP now, adjusting to the market. It's like, it doesn't make sense when you really think about it, because if you're going to get mad at these stores for charging, over MSRP or MSRP or whatever it is, you can't really, like, it doesn't make sense to get mad, because back then they were just charging less than MSRP. Imagine back then when we didn't have this sort of demand with Pokemon, if they charged MSRP for booster boxes. Like, you'd be mad then, right? But they didn't charge MSRP back then, because they're charging based on the market. Because back then, when there wasn't any demand, it was only $100, and that was the market. But now the market is, with these Elite Trainer boxes are $90, $100. These card stores are just adjusting to market like they have always been doing, and you're mad now. It's like, you gotta sort of decide, like, are you okay with buying at MSRP when sets in the Pokemon market isn't crazy? Like, you're probably not, right? So why are you mad now that they're just adjusting to market like they've always been doing? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't go both ways. Like, it just, the anger because they're adjusting their price to market and selling for what people are willing to pay doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's like, I think some people, like, don't know how just basic, like, economics works with supply and demand. It's like, people want these card stores, when it's bad, when Pokemon isn't, in demand, when Pokemon isn't popular. They want them to sell it when it's super cheap. And then when things finally get good, they still want them to sell it for super cheap. And if they don't, and if they adjust their, prices because there's an increase in demand, they're evil now. It's like, this whole thing doesn't make any sense to me. And maybe it's because I'm, what do they call it, a capitalist, someone who just likes making money, doesn't really care. Like, maybe that's just me. But it's like, you can't get mad for what the market is. It's like, even me, I don't have a single Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer box. And I'm still not mad that they're $100, because I just know it is what it is. There's nothing to get mad at. It's just the demand and then the supply for pre-orders right now. Like, it is what it is. And I think people just need to accept the fact, because people just want to, just whenever the scenario, fits them, and whatever, I guess, their whole idea is with, prices, like, yeah, when it's bad, they should only, be charging this amount. And then when things are good, they can't increase to a certain amount. It's like, the whole idea is honestly, in my opinion, kind of dumb. You can't expect these stores, when the demand is like this and when things are popular, to just keep it at, just MSRP now. But back then, when there was no demand, to not charge MSRP. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, people are just trying to fit what they want, I guess, to, like, have with each scenario. It's like, they don't want them to charge MSRP when things are not popular, but then when things are popular, they all of a sudden care about MSRP. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, I guess that's all I really wanted to say in this video, is just to give my opinion about this whole anger towards card stores, because I don't agree with it unless, a card store, cancels your order and then, charges more after. Like, that's the only thing I wouldn't agree with. But other than that, like, if they're just adjusting the market price, like, how can you get mad at that? It's market price. And even if they did charge over a market price, it's like, go somewhere else to buy it. It's like, they're not forcing you to buy this stuff. It's like, it's like a free market. It's like, they're not forcing. This is not a necessity. Like, if this was food or something that you actually need, then you could understand that, and that's like price gouging. That's a little bit different. But it's like, with Pokemon, like, this is not a necessity, and there's other places to buy. There's not just one card store to buy from. There's multiple places. And you can't get mad at these places. And a lot of these places honestly aren't even charging crazy amounts. Like they're just charging market. Like I've searched up a lot of these car stores, like Forge and Fire, for example. They're just charging market. Like the market price on TCG Player is like $100. So it's like these car stores are just charging market like they've literally always been doing. But now all of a sudden people care about MSRP. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I'm not angry at these card stores. I think, honestly, to be real with you guys, I'm actually happy for these card stores because they're finally making money. Because this whole time they've been selling booster boxes for $100, like barely making any money. These elite trainer boxes, selling them for under retail, like they're finally making money, and I'm honestly happy to see that. Like I actually am, even though I don't have a single Prismatic Evolutions elite trainer box. I'm actually legitimately happy that these car stores are finally making money, and it's just good that we're seeing these car stores actually be able to make some money. Because this whole time, before Prismatic and Surging Sparks, I mean, Pokemon, nothing was crazy. Things were just selling for like $100 a booster box. So, I guess that's all I want to say. I guess I've rambled a little bit too much than I really should have. But I think you guys maybe see my point now, and maybe you can understand my perspective of how I don't understand the anger towards these card stores when they're just charging market like they literally have always been doing. But all of a sudden now that things are over MSRP because of the demand, people care about MSRP. The whole thing doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's just my opinion. So comment down below what your whole take is on this whole thing with people getting angry at car stores for just charging market. Like, are you angry at them, or are you just like me where you just accept it and that's just how, it works? So yeah, that's all I want to say. Let's end this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and I'll see you guys on the next one.